we produced a movie called Hunter's Prayer with Sam Worthington, who's incredible, and obviously he's in the movie Avatar. And through that, became close with James Cameron and his family. And literally, James Cameron comes in my office one day and literally was like, if I could do one thing in the world for you, what would you want? And I'm like, all right, what's the hardest thing to do? Go to space. So I'm like, I want to go to space. So like kind of like jokingly, conversation over, moves on. See him a couple weeks later, throws a ticket down on my desk, and he's like, all right, I'm building a spaceship. We're going to space. We're going to have a beer on the moon. And I'm like, what the fuck did I just get into? And I'm like, man, I don't want to go to space. And he's like, what? And it was like him and his brother, John, who also, John passed away a couple years ago, but great. I mean, these guys were amazing people. And they're like, well, what would you want? And I'm like, put your name on my company. And I mean, we started a company that day.
Wow.
It was called Richie Walls, and they just started writing checks.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were partners with James Cameron?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Him and his brother. And
so how did that, so what happened with that? What all did you do together?
So obviously he's focused on, the $1.5 billion that Fox has given him to do 5 avatars. So, I mean, it was just kind of like a favor. Here's money. This is what they do. And it was a cool experience. I mean, it was kind of like at that point, I wasn't really developing projects. He's obviously not going to bring me on to produce Avatar. But we would spend a lot of time together. We got to go to the Avatar set a lot. We would go down to the beach. We'd have these like 2-3 hour Beverly Hills lunches.
Nice.
And I mean, it's hard to get things done when you're spending that much time traveling to the studios and then spending all this wasted time and these lunches. It's fun. It's cool. But what am I really doing with my life here other than taking somebody else's money and just having these fancy lunches? So I had the opportunity to come to Tennessee 2016 to meet with this guy named Gordon Whitener. He had came up a few times in LA. He was wanting to get into movies. That's who I met, actually introduced me to John Black. And Gordon, I came in, at that point I'm like, okay, man, like I'm working with James Cameron. Like it's going to take a lot for me to come back to Tennessee and do a movie in Knoxville. And he's like, it's with Burt Reynolds. I'm like, I'm in. And we put the company together. We put the project together. I didn't even go home. I went shopping and bought clothes for the next couple months because I was going to be on set. And we did the most amazing experience of my life doing this project with Burt Reynolds.
Wow.
It was wrote and directed by Adam Rifkin. Amazing guy. He wrote this for Burt. He literally waited 10 years to make the movie because at that point, Burt wasn't ready in his life to kind of have a real project that basically mirrors his life of him being an older movie star that isn't as famous as he used to be. I mean, he probably would have beat all of our asses in the room at 10 years before. And we made this amazing project, and I went back to LA, and literally it was like, I think I want to go to Nashville. And
it was 2016.
Yeah. We shot 2 days here and we shot 20 days in Knoxville. And, I had came here with my brother and some people and didn't really know. I think I knew like one person that played this guy, Dan, played football with my brother, and didn't know anybody. And I just was sitting on my couch in LA and I was like, man, that place just something's happening.
Yeah.
And it took me about a year, and we had our offices in Beverly Hills, and the whole time, man, I'm in my brain for like the next year. I'm like, man, Nashville. And we premiered The Last Movie Star with Burt and Chevy Chase and Ariel Winter, that actually lives here now. She was from Modern Family. And we premiered at the Tribeca Festival. Our first meeting was with A24, sold the movie immediately. And I had this whole proposal to give to Gordon. And it was like, it was like a full on like printed out deck, and it was like where I'm going to live and where the office is going to be and what we're going to do in Nashville, and went back to LA, packed, and moved here.